Hello, we're back. And as you can see, the book today is, or tonight, or whatever it is, Samurai and Dinosaurs by Michael Murphy. And I'm going to talk a little, mostly about the writing in this. Chibi Comics might be how you know him on Twitter or anywhere else. I don't know where all he's marketing. I gotta look in my little viewfinder. Where are we? Okay. Yeah, we're good. But, sorry, excuse me. He's got several projects going. Deep Well and a couple of others have come and gone. This book came to me maybe 5 months ago, and that's when I read it. So I think 5 months ago. It was a very enjoyable book, by the way. Look, he signed it. I'm so special. He signed it. Anyway, it came with a little bit of extras like an ash can and whatnot. I won't be showing off the ash can. Well, I can kind of show off the ash can. It looks like this. So there's, I don't know if I got glare or not. The lighting in here is really, I'm really working on my lighting in here. It's not too bright, but if I actually have a second lamp out. I'm trying to see how that works. Oops. Oh, it also came with a really nice bookmark, which I'll show you later. It's holding a page, a particular page for me. So, jumping into the story on this, he has a writing style in this particular book that could lend itself to error, but it doesn't, because he just doesn't screw it up, basically. So we start with something in the stars coming and hitting the Earth, so asteroid, comet, whatever. It hits the Earth in the mountains here, and I guess that's Japanese for harakum, whatever that means. And, let's see. To report the asteroid to the governor, I'm not sure, I forget, because I read this so long ago, if this guy has a proper title, or if the title is in Japanese, or whatever. But this is the royal city, 55 miles due west, the royal city Outoko Kakan. So Outoko Kakan. And this little peon here has to disrupt the governor and his harem to describe to them what has happened. And they see out here, as you can see, the the hills are on fire, which is not good. So this is a good place to point out one of the things with the artwork that at first threw me a little bit, but then turned out okay, was you see how there's a base. This head is longer than this head, and this head is pretty similar to that one. So what the artist did, and maybe at the direction of Mike, I don't know, was make the faces and the hairs have different styles on them so that we could tell people apart more easily. And I think that was a good move. So this guy has a particular mustache with a little bit of a under goatee on the chin. This guy actually has a beard. He's often drawn with those two dots in his beard right there where the blank spots are, between the chin and the soul patch, if it were. Anyway, but this book has a writing style where we get a lot of flashbacks. So here we have one, and this first flashback was the roughest one to read because I didn't realize what was going on. So 1 year later, we see a dude is planting, and then he hears someone yelling from off the page, Kata, which I believe might be his name. I forget. I thought his name was Ren. And then we go to this, where his name is Ren. I forget, maybe Kata means attention or something. I have no idea. I didn't look it up. So, anyway. Here he is. Notice the same little marks on his chin, so we know that we got the same guy. And he's our main character, the one we follow the most. And then we see this scene with a house burning, a woman wounded, and what appears to be Ren facing off against the governor. And yeah, it is Ren. See? Okay, so as I'm originally reading it, yes, it appears to be Ren, and I'm trying to describe to you how hard it is to suddenly catch up. What happened is we get 1 year later for one page, and then immediately jump into a flashback, and that really threw me. So that's one place I'd fault the writing, was it's hard to do that. Anyway, but this having a flashback on each of the 6 major characters is something that happens throughout the book, but this was the only really rough one. And they all get like their own little portrait page here, which is really cool. So the portrait pages would make nice prints. This tells a little backstory about how he lost his wife to the governor. So there's a lot of resentment there, as you could imagine. And the governor, let's see, the future governor, or governor at the time, is saying, men who make threats tend not to live long lives, Ren. And he says, I no longer care. So then we're back to the 1 year later time. So this is a year after the comet hit the Earth, or an asteroid, or whatever it is, a meteorite. And he's receiving a messenger, and then the message is that something has happened, and he's being called to the capital city because his expertise is needed. Now, he's got nothing. He has no wife. He's alone. So he says, give me a moment. Burns his house. Why are these Japanese stories always so extreme? Like, burns his house because being called to the governor means he's probably going to die one way or another. Either the mission, which he has no idea about yet, or the governor himself, etc. And so other people are answering the call as well. And then the story progresses from there. They start meeting each other. We get characterization out of that. And so we meet Ryocho Sashi. We get his backstory. And if I'm keeping my character straight, he's the one who attended the same dojo as Ren that Ren left and was not particularly popular at. If I'm not keeping that straight and it's somebody else, that's okay. Both characters exist in this story. So here's this. They get their mission to go examine the meteorite strike because weird things are happening out there, and then they go off. And so we get through a bit of looping. They get to know each other. So there is some adventure here, blatantly. I mean, you know, what is this? What is this thing? So it's a mechanical dragon that this dude wants to fight, you know, used for fighting and whatnot. We also have a psychotic along with them. This guy's just a weirdo. So it was, you know, a cast of characters. Usually these groups, you tend to get it's a team, so it's a Swiss Army knife, and that's what this became, was a Swiss Army knife thing. So make sure I'm still recording. Yeah. All right. So the story moves on. We get more backstories for different people. They continue to go exploring, and you get to know the characters this way. Now here's where it could be an error to have these flashbacks for each individual character. That can be done to patch up deficits in the story, but instead it lets us know, instead of patching up plot deficits necessarily, it lets us know a little bit more about their motives and how they think and what they feel and why they behave the way they do in this team of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I must have miscounted. So there's that. Now there is a twist ending to it, which I won't even show you. Now I have this bookmark here, so it's a little out of sequence, but I want to show you. It's a really nice bookmark. I don't know if that's in focus. When I do these things, I can't see through the viewfinder of what I'm recording with. So there you go. It's the house burning while Ren holds his dying wife. And so that's from the earlier scene. Why I had this page bookmarked was, as Ren sees these, I want to say dragons, screw it, dragons, not the dinosaurs, coming out of the bush here, which is what that looks like, and there's a tree branch. One artist I talked to rejected this book because he saw this page in particular, and that was a mistake. His criticism of it, you gotta pay attention to this black line right there. If these guys are coming out of the foliage, why does Ren have a shadow and they don't? Now when you find out the end of the story and what's really going on, this makes sense. But the other artist who was talking to me looked at this and said that this was an error. It isn't. Just trust me on that one. There's a reason they don't have a shadow. So, sorry man. Not calling you out by name, but just wanted to point that out in case other people critique it. So there we are, and we get through more adventure and whatnot, and more flashbacks. So thankfully, you don't have to translate the handwriting. It's all in English. That was very nice of Mike to do for us. There is a bit of a twist ending. But I think I've already said it. You get to know the characters through their action, kind of like the movie Alien. Oh, you know what? That's what I described it as when I conversed with Mike a bit. It really is like the movie Alien, where you're dumped right in, and you get all the characterization through the actions, except that he put in those flashbacks. So you know what it's as you go along, which I think was really a good move. It works very well, even all the way to the twist ending. So this is the scientist character, and whatever dojo he comes from. But Kenkyuusa Fukami. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, if you're ever reading in your head like I am, sometimes you just see words, you don't try to pronounce them in your head, it just becomes like a visual symbol for that person. So there's a lot of intra-team conflict, a lot of intrigue. This woman has to tell Ren that she's actually on a different mission with everyone else. So that comes up. And at this point, we're just kind of looking at the artwork. This guy's great. He's a cook. He had such a bad experience with a woman that now he's always positive towards everything. He looks at every day as an opportunity for something good, and he expresses it through food. So it's just like, okay, that's your quirk, but that's actually really cool at the same time. Like people who have seen or faced death tend to get a little bit different of an attitude. So here we are. This is the meteor itself. Of course, I'm not really giving away the story by showing you that. They do make the meteor, and more stuff has to happen. So anyway, definitely recommend to follow up with Mike Murphy, also known as Chibi Comics or Chibi Mike. This was drawn by Sergio Calvé. I guess that's like Russian and French put together. I don't know. Actually, I've never heard of him before, and I don't know what else he's done. I ended up really liking the art style, and it was useful in some scenes to have people have like slightly different shapes and cuts and whatnot, so you can differentiate the characters. So hat tip to him. It was really good. Oh yeah, and Kelsey Shannon did this cover. If I can do it without destroying my book, I think I have the poster of it. But yeah, are we centered? Yeah, there we go. So good job, Kelsey Shannon. This is really awesome. I liked this a lot. Yeah, and of course it's blue-green, which I favor by far over orange and violet. So, so there's that. Anyway, Mike has other stories out. I'll try to put links to them in whatever's live still at the time I'm recording this in my description for the video. Let's see what I'm up to on time. Oh, good. I've crossed the 10-minute mark. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time.